Hello and welcome back to another episode of Bantz with Lawrencia. How are you all doing? Hope you're doing great. For today's episode, my glasses are on because class is in session, ladies and gentlemen. I want to talk about the case between Senator Natasha Akpoti and the Senate President Godwill Akpabio. Now, for some of you who don't know, Senator Natasha is a senator representing Edo, one of the local governments in Edo State, and her election to the Senate was in national news because they tried everything possible to make sure that she did not get into the Senate. So she has been controversial from day dot. Not by her doings anyway. So she got into the Senate, she fought, she went to court, she was given that mandate and she represented her people. And for over a year, she did her job. She was flying national, international, doing her job, representing her people, speaking up at the Senate. Now, the first video that surfaced online regarding the issues between Senator Natasha and Godwill Akpabio was when Senator Natasha wanted to speak in the House. I think everybody was talking, it was noisy, and then she said she was trying to make her point because there was a motion being raised. She was trying to say that we're not trying to stop the motion, we're just saying that it could be amended. Now, the Senate President, Godwill Akpabio, literally shut her down. He said that this is not a nightclub. Before you speak, you have to, I think maybe the rule is before you speak, you have to seek permission from the Senate President before you can speak. So I think what triggered people was the fact that you could have said that. There's no need to say this is not a nightclub. So that went viral. People started talking about it. They started analyzing the Senate and the Senate seats. They said there are over 110 senators, and just 4 of them are women. So they said that is not good, and the fact that this has just shown because the way they speak to women, saying that Natasha, who just wanted to make her point known in a very noisy, and everybody was speaking up in that video that we saw online. So she was trying to maybe shout and get her voice across, only for Senate President to tell her this is not a nightclub. But every other person is talking. So I think that was what got people talking. Now, we thought, okay, after that, people analyzed it, everybody moved on. We thought, the Senate and the Senate President and Senator Natasha Akpoti, they've moved on and they are getting the job done. Now we're just sitting there minding our business. A video was released of Senator Natasha. I think what they said was that it was reported that they changed the Senate seat because people were decamping from APC to PDP and PDP to APC. You know how Nigerian politics is. They only go where the money and the power is. So right now, PDP members are decamping to APC. And according to the story, the Senate, the way it is arranged by party, maybe PDP and APC. So because more people have moved to APC, so they're trying to rearrange the seats to allegedly make everything or make things easier to identify people in the House. Now, several people was moved and they said that Natasha was one of those people. So when she came in, they gave her her new seat. Senator Natasha allegedly refused to move to the new seat because she said maybe she was already sitting at the back and where she was going to be seated or her new seat will make it very difficult for maybe her to gain visibility or for her to be able to make her point or be seen, because at the end of the day, you have to be seen at the Senate to make an impact. So she was refusing to move. And Godwill Akpabio, she was trying to, I think, say something, and he told her that if you don't move to your new seat, we're not going to listen to you, basically. That was when Senator Natasha allegedly, as we've seen in the video, she lost it. She started saying that, he was being biased, he's being, she said a whole lot of things in that video. She was very emotional in that video. I didn't want to say anything when I initially saw that video because I thought there are better ways to handle things. There are only 4 women in that house. There's no justification for you to now reduce that to 3. Whatever must have happened, move to your new seats and then, discuss what may have occurred afterwards. Because at the end of the day, this is a work environment, this is a workplace, that is your boss. Nobody's going to speak to their boss like that and expect to have a job. After that, Senator Natasha came out and said that Godwill Akpabio sexually harassed her. He invited herself and her husband, because according to the story, Senator Natasha's husband and Senator Godwill Akpabio, they are very good friends. According to Natasha, she said that Godwill and her husband regards Akpabio as her brother, so they were very close. So he now invited them to his house, just to show you how close these people were. He invited them to his house, and when he was showing them around, the husband, according to Senator Natasha, decided to take a call, or got a call and was receiving the call when Godwill Akpabio started propositioning her. He told her he liked her, she could come around. Basically, he was asking her, do you like this house? You can always come around. We can do things, we can run one or two things. It was a Nigerian politician, just being a Nigerian politician, basically. She said she didn't like that, and when they were having that conversation, maybe her countenance changed. So when her husband came in, the husband, I think, was asking her what had happened. She said she didn't want to tell her husband. I mean, they were very good friends. She said she couldn't tell her husband there and then that this is what your brother is telling me. So she just told him nothing happened. But according to Senator Natasha, after that point, Senator Akpabio had kind of withdrawn his support, because literally they were, two peas in a pod. You can imagine when your brother or your husband's brother is in the Senate, or your husband's best friend is the Senate president. So she was getting a whole lot of recognition. She was put in projects that, according to some people, she didn't deserve. So she was getting all those perks when things were going well. But according to what she said, when she refused his advances in his house, he kind of withdrew all the support he was giving her. She said that, there were over 109 senators. So she said when there are trips to go for, usually not all senators go for those trips. So he will just pick out people who he wants to go for the trip, because if it's going to be sponsored, then they will just choose some people to go. So she said since she refused his advances, the Senate president has withdrawn all his support towards her. So even all those trips that she thinks it's good for her, it's good for her constituents, she will pay and go for those trips. I think the point here is she felt uncomfortable by whatever Senator Akpabio said or did to her. She was uncomfortable, and nobody can tell anybody how to react to, or when to react, because the bone of contention was that she didn't react immediately, or she didn't say anything immediately until that incident. People said that for her to have said that at that point, that maybe she was lying, or maybe she was making things up allegedly. But for me, I think you don't know when somebody is going to react, especially when you have given somebody certain privileges and you're withdrawing that privileges or those privileges because they have refused to do certain things or not. But let's play on a level field, on a level playing field. Let's be objective. There are senators, this is a house of over 100 senators, and most times these trips, maybe there are only 4 women. So I am very sure that those women don't go for those trips, or even if they go for those trips, maybe they were paying just the way that when Senator Natasha allegedly refused Akpabio's sexual advances, he withdrew those privileges. But I think she was hurt. She was hurt that this is my husband's friend. Why would he do that? Or this is somebody I have seen, or I have grown to see as a mentor, now withdrawing privileges just because of this. When I saw, the video, I just thought this is an outburst. This is somebody that has had it. This is somebody that was harboring something inside and decided to blow up. At that point, it was a blow up. It was a blow up. There's nothing you can say about that. And when I saw that, I was like, there are better ways to handle this. There are, more diplomatic ways you can go, because she was not the only one who was asked to move seats. Even at that, I didn't want to get into it until the Senate president, Godwill Akpabio, officially suspended Senator Natasha Akpoti, because according to him, she brought disrepute to the Senate, because after that claim was made, he said, according to Senator Natasha, that his wife was getting called because his wife actually sued Senator Natasha. It's a mess. It's a mess. She is suing Natasha because Natasha said that the alleged sexual harassment happened in her house. So I don't even know why she's suing, but ladies and gentlemen, she's suing. And at the end of the day, they have suspended Senator Natasha Akpoti. Now, people are saying that a whole lot of women in the house, they are not supporting Natasha. They said Natasha shouldn't have reacted the way she did. One of the person who spoke up was Senator Etagiwa. Now, Etagiwa said that Natasha shouldn't look at the job as herself, that she has gone to a level, and I understand what Senator Etagiwa was trying to say. She said that the level that Senator Natasha is in, she has power. She's not somebody who is, just a Nollywood actress trying to get into Nollywood. She's somebody who herself has power. So if somebody at that level is propositioning you, there are better ways to handle that. Manage it. And I think people didn't really get what she was trying to say, because at the end of the day now, we only had 4 women senators in the House. Now they've suspended Natasha for 6 months. We have 3. The numbers are going down. And people are saying that why don't those women support Natasha? Or why women in politics, why did they not support Natasha? And I wouldn't blame them, because at the end of the day, this is Nigeria. This is Nigerian politics. It is a man's world. So if any of them is coming out to say one or two things about, this is the number 3 person in Nigeria, the Senate president. He is the number 3. After the president, the vice president, it is Godwill, Akpabio. So fighting somebody at that level requires strategy. Fighting somebody at that level requires, going for the outcome rather than the output. The output is what she did. She wanted her voice heard. At that point, she wasn't thinking about strategy. She wasn't thinking about the long run. She just wanted her voice heard at that point. It was an outburst. But the outcome of that right now is the fact that she has been suspended. I don't think she can come back from this, because it's always going to be attached to her name. It's always going to be, Senator Natasha, sexual harassment, this, that. And that, for me, I think is the issue. Because yes, Senator Natasha she's a very beautiful woman. She's married. But at the end of the day, men are going to look at you. Men are going to ask you out. Nigerian politicians are always going to be Nigerian politicians. I remember when Bianca Ojukwu, she was being, I think she was going through they were going through ministerial screening. So she was there, and one of the lawmakers was talking about her beauty, and even Akpabio was the one that cautioned the lawmaker to say, let's keep it to her qualifications. What I'm trying to say is, at the end of the day, if you're a beautiful woman, people are going to approach you. People are going to make advances. People are going to even humans with low morals are going to say things that would, that you question your sanity for. But at the end of the day, what you do, how you handle it, is going to determine how you're going to move forward. So Senator Etagiwa trying to say that, I think, came across as maybe she was not being empathetic. Maybe she was trying to say that Senator Natasha shouldn't have reported what happened to her. I understand why she was saying that, because she was basically saying that Natasha has power. If she played the game, at the end of the day, politics is a game. It's just like the corporate world. It's a game. It is the survival of the fittest. And it is the survival of the person with the strategy, not the person who is maybe emotional at some point or being emotional about certain things that had happened. Nobody is saying that sexual harassment is okay. It is not okay. But being in Nigeria is just like being in Nollywood and saying somebody sexually harassed you. And if Nollywood, maybe upcoming actresses or maybe actresses come out and say everything that's going on in Nollywood, they will not be working. So the point is, I think for my own take is that this could have been a better outcome regardless. If she had maybe moved the seats and then come to the media, maybe somebody asks her and she start giving interviews or dropping breadcrumbs here and there, it would have had a better impact because she will still be at the Senate. She will still have maybe later moved to the seats that she wanted, but the outcome would have been different. Maybe people will now be looking into Akpabio to say, okay, you've said things about the nice club incident and now you're doing this to her. It is the press. It is the people that will now start asking those questions. So I think that was the game. If I was in her shoes, I would have played that game. But at the end of the day, you can't tell people how to react. You can't tell people how to control their emotions, especially when they feel hurt. I think Senator Natasha felt hurt because this was her husband's friend. This was somebody her husband considered a brother. And because she has refused his sexual advances, this is how he decided to treat her. She is absolutely right to have reacted the way she did. But looking at the bigger picture, is it worth it? I don't know. Let me know what you think. Do you think that the way Senator Natasha handled the situation was the way you would have handled it? Or do you think that she would have, used maybe put one or two strategies in place to handle because at the end of the day, you have to manage people. You have to manage people's expectation. You have to manage people's emotions. You have to manage the way people see you. And that requires a whole lot of strategy, especially at that level. Let me know what you think. I'd like to know, do you think that she handled it well? Or do you think that Godwill Akpabio is playing God by suspending her for 6 months? Thank you very much for watching today's episode. Please like, and share. Thank you very much for watching. Bye-bye.